Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Martin, and welcome to 2K Central. So it's been a while, huh? Yeah, apologies guys, we were quite busy with exams. Very important exams that we had to focus on, but we're both finished and free to make videos again. So Hangar 13 just released a teaser trailer yesterday for E3. But yeah, I'm going to analyze the trailer to some extent. I won't go into depth because we've seen a lot of this stuff previously, but I'll touch on the key points. Alright, so once again we get another angle of Sal and Georgie burning down Sammy's bar and wiping out the black mob. And here we see Father James saving Lincoln from the burning building, which we've seen previously. And here is one of the biggest moments in the trailer. We finally get to see John Donovan's face. We've heard his voice in the previous trailer and we know quite a lot about him. So he is a CIA operative and actually joined Lincoln in Vietnam. And Donovan specializes in gathering intelligence. So once Lincoln returns from the war and is ambushed by the Marcano family, he is shot in the head, he recovers, and contacts John Donovan and asks him to gather information on Sal and his entire family. And that information then sets Lincoln on his path for vengeance against Sal. So he's an extremely important character to the overall story. Also, it seems like he's being interviewed by the police in this moment, which may be how Lincoln's story is presented to the player. The police ask him a question, he begins setting up the scenario for the next sequence of events, which we then take control of. And if you actually focus on the background of this shot, you'll see an evidence board used by a detective following Lincoln and Sal's actions. It kind of shows the criminal empire to some extent, and you can see certain images marked with a red X, meaning Lincoln has possibly killed that person. So expect this board to be filled with X's by the time we're done, am I right? I'm sorry. Yeah, and here we can see what looks like case files that give details of the main characters and main events in the game. They're numbered too, so number 6 there looks like a crime scene in a public area. 7, Lincoln is celebrating with friends in happier times before all this went tits up. And 12 is an image of Vito and Joe. Now don't get too excited, it's just a screen cap from Mafia 2. But it's kind of interesting, if they wanted an image of Vito, then they could have chosen a better one with him on his own. So Joe being included in this is either a very subtle hint that he's in the game, or that at the very least there's references to him throughout the game. Or it could just be another way for them to pull on our heartstrings. They need to stop doing that. And number 13, this is Sal Marcano, clearly the primary antagonist. And his son Georgie seems to be slightly behind him. And the one directly below Sal's image, you can see another crime scene. Most likely Lincoln was involved in some capacity. So we can assume there's going to be quite a few crime scenes within these case files. But it would be quite interesting if we kill a character in a certain way will the case file differ. That'd be awesome. And here is Lincoln being a cool guy refusing to look at explosions or fire. But in all seriousness, it's quite an interesting image. It shows Lincoln is getting revenge by doing exactly the same thing that was done to him at Sammy's bar. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fatally wounded a member of the Marcano family and left him to die in this burning building. An eye for an eye? Ah, that's so cheesy. Woo! I know, we were all thinking that, weren't we? Alright, so here is one of the many tunnels in the game. Hangar 13 wanted to include these to add more variety to the game, so you can actually take over certain gang rackets by approaching via these tunnels. Plus, it's a rather easy way to avoid the police by using a boat. But they do not stay true to the city, that's why it is a fictional version of New Bordeaux and New Orleans. So I've looked over this image quite a lot. Now Lincoln is clearly driving the boat, but the other 3 characters in the boat, I'm unsure of their names. Honestly, the character in the back seat looks rather like Georgie, which would be a crazy twist if those two turned out to be friends, but it probably isn't. Whoever it is, it does seem like the group are having a night out or a double date of some sort. There are 2 girls in the boat with Lincoln and this other character, so perhaps it's possible Lincoln has a love interest in the game. Or at the very least, he's got a booty call. Hey, hey. And why I think this is a night out, they're all smiling and there's no one chasing them. And it's quite possible that Lincoln is doing the classic guy thing by trying to impress these girls by showing them he's much more exciting than most guys. Alright, so here's Lincoln firing an M60 machine gun. So LMGs confirmed. Yeah. Sorry, got too excited about that. Alright, so this is something I don't think anyone was really expecting, but cage fighting confirmed. Never thought I would say that, but yeah, I doubt this is any more than a side activity. It's possibly a gang racket of some sort too. So I don't expect it to have a major role in the game. At the very least, they may have one mission revolving around it. But other than that, it'll mostly be a way to make some quick cash and boost your ego by beating up other men with your bare fist. But still, I'm excited. Alright, so here's Lincoln fighting the law and losing. It also seems to follow the cop's point of view in the shot, which is a little odd, but maybe there's a cinematic type camera option. Alright, so we've reached the final image of the teaser trailer. Now, at first I thought nothing off this clip. I just assumed it was Lincoln killing another man for revenge, you know, the usual. But if you actually freeze frame it on Lincoln's face, he looks rather sad. There's even a look of regret on his face, that maybe he was forced to kill this man. Initially, you'd think this was just a simple assassination, but after seeing the very next image, it gives me a little confirmation that the scenario isn't that simple. It seems like the two men met at an empty bar. Lincoln perhaps went in with the hope of working things out. In the middle of the conversation, he drew his gun on Lincoln, but Lincoln beat him to the draw. So it does seem like the two had some type of relationship, and Lincoln was forced to kill him. But that's just a theory based on one little glance that Lincoln makes, so yeah, I'm a crazy person. But honestly, yeah, I could be way off on the small theory and could be overlooking this completely. So yeah, we've come to the end of this video, guys. If there's anything I missed, do let me know in the comments. I'd love to see it and discuss it with you guys. And the stuff I didn't really touch on was clips I felt like we've touched on and covered before. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Mafia 3 will be released October 7th on Xbox One, PS4 and PC. Stay tuned for more Mafia related content here on 2K Central. Bye-bye, guys.
Ist ja absolutes Kind.